Hello everyone, today we're going to be working through another problem in your book. This problem is 11.4 and it's located on page 125. And here's what the problem reads. Write a well-structured VBA procedure that returns values of x and y in accordance with the flowchart shown in figure 11.10. So as you can see here, this is a simple logic problem. We're given this flowchart. We're going to input a value for x, and then determining on how it relates to certain inequalities, we're going to move, it's either going to be true or false, and we're going to move throughout the flowchart until we get output values for x and y. So the first thing we want to do is enter Visual Basic. So we go to Developer, Visual Basic. Alright, we're going to want to insert a new module. Okay, once we've done that, we want to do what we always do a single quote and our name, and then single quote and the date. Alright. So in order to solve this problem, we're going to have to define two variables. We'll define x by doing dim x and y by doing dim y. Alright, once we've done that, we can define our subroutine. We'll call this sub logic. Okay, hit enter, and we have our subroutine created. Now, I'm going to solve this problem using input boxes. It's easier. I think it's easier than referencing values from Excel. The Excel spreadsheet, so we're just going to do that. So we're going to start by saying x equals input box, and then parenthesis, and then quote, and then enter value for x. Close parenthesis, or close quote, close parenthesis, then hit enter. Alright, so now we have our input box. We don't need an input box for y because the first part of our logic flowchart is just inputting a value for x. Alright, so next we want to start writing our code. We're going to use if-then statements. And then else if to solve this problem. So our first line is going to read if x is greater than 10, which is the first inequality we come to, then. So now we have to start another if statement because we can either be true or false. So we'll do if x is greater than 20, then. So if that's the case, then we have x equal to 20, and y equals to 0. Now it doesn't specifically say y equals to 0 in the figure, but it's implying it's only giving us x equals 20, so it implies that y equals 0. So we'll do that. All right, now else, which you can see again is on the right side of the figure. Else x equals 15. And y equals 5. Okay, and now we can end that if. Now we've ended the nested if, but we still have ended this nested if, but we still have this large if that we're still working in. So our next statement is going to be else if, which basically tells the program that if we don't have any of these circumstances, if x isn't greater than 10, then we're going to go right to the else if and run the other inequalities that we're looking for. So else if x is less than 5, then x equals to 5 and y equals to 2. So we're now working the left side of our flowchart, because if we've gotten to this, we've assumed that x is not greater than 10. Alright, so once you do that, now we have the else statement, which basically just says if x is between 5 and 10, then x equals x and y equals 0. Okay, and that should be the logic to our code. So now we end that if. Now to get our output results, we're going to do a message box. We're going to do a message box. All right, do a space, and a quote. So x space equals space quote and then and x and quote y equals end quote and y. So this is basically going to say x equals x, whatever the value for x is, and then y equals the value for y. What's in parentheses, so not parentheses, quotes, we'll read as text, and what's outside of those we'll read as values. Okay, and that's our code. And I'm sorry, this actually should not be there, so you can copy and paste that before the end sub. That's very important, otherwise it won't get read in. So then you can just delete this one. Alright, give it some space so you can read it logically. Alright, so now I'm going to go back into Excel. I'm going to create a button so we can easily run this subroutine. So just drag, create the button, apply it to the subroutine logic. Alright, I'm going to call it run, as I always do, because it's trying to run a program. So run. Alright, click run. Oh, we've forgotten if. Oh, so you can see right here, I have this if statement, and I forgot to end this if. So I have to do end if, and then it should be all set. Alright, so I can play. Yep. So now we have to enter a value for x. So the first value we'll try will get us to the right side of the flow diagram. So it has to be a value greater than 10. So we'll enter 15. Now we should expect, since this x is less than 20, that we will get x equals 15 and y equals to 5. So we'll hit OK. And we do. X equals 15, y equals to 5. And then we'll try another example. Go back into here, click run, enter a value for x. We'll enter 7. So now, since x is less than 10, we go to the left of our flow diagram. And then since x is greater than 5, our x value should just equal x, and we shouldn't have anything for y. So we click OK, and that's true. And that's the solution to problem 11.4 on page 125. Thank you very much.